And we're back with Amendment 15. Race no bar to vote. Do you think car races? Probably not. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Wonder why that one came around. Amendment 16, Status of Income Tax clarified. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration. So, yay, we don't have to pay tax. Now, many people think, oh, taxes, evil. No, taxes are what provide shit for us. I mean, taxes is us coming together and saying, hey, we want people to take care of this shit, like police and the roads and, education, and taxes pay for all that. So, now, granted, there are the several $100 billion that we're wasting in the military. That's not going to our troops and whatnot. It's going to places like Lockheed Martin and so forth. That's a legitimate grievance, but not paying any taxes at all, it's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Okay, that's taxes are supposed to be the one thing that remind us that we're not that we all have to live with each other. Okay, as long as they're fair and equitable, and help keep I don't know. Just shut up and sit there for a second, because I'm trying to think of fucking what word to say. So as long as they keep us, they serve a just purpose. There we go. That's what I want to say. As long as our tax dollars go to serve a just purpose, I don't have a fucking problem with it. And quite personally, I like doing things myself, but you can't do everything yourself. Okay, Amendment 17. Senators elected by popular vote. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of most numerous branches of the state legislatures. When vacancies happen in representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election as the legislature may direct. This amendment shall not be so construed as to affect the election or any term of any senator chosen before it becomes a valid part of the Constitution. Okay, so how long do you have senators? Amendment 18, liquor abolished. This was repealed. This was prohibition. So we'll screw that one. Amendment 19, women's suffrage. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on the account of sex. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment 20, presidential congressional terms. The terms of the president and vice president shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of the senators and representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January of the years in which such terms would have ended if this article had not been ratified, and the terms of the successors shall then begin. The Congress shall assemble at least once every year, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the third day of January, unless they shall law. I never noticed that it was like that. Okay, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. If at the time of fixed for the beginning of the term of the president-elect should have died, the vice president-elect shall become president. If the president shall not have been chosen before the time fixed at the beginning of the term, or the president-elect shall have failed to qualify, then the vice president-elect shall act as president until a president shall have qualified. And the Congress may by law provide for the case wherein neither a president-elect nor vice president-elect shall have qualified, declaring who shall then act as president, or a manner in which the one who is to act shall be selected, and such person act accordingly. until a president or vice president shall have been qualified. So basically, this is saying like, okay, we elected, the country elected the president. President died. What are we going to do? Well, how do we take care of it? The Congress shall, may by law provide for the case of death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives may choose a president whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them, and for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the Senate may choose a vice president whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them. This is Sections 1 and 2 take effect on the 15th day of October following ratification of this article. This article shall be inoperable unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by legislatures 3/4 of the several states and within 7 years from the date of its submission. Amendment 21, which repeals the Prohibition Amendment. Let's see. The 18th Amendment is hereby repealed. Transportation or importation in any state, territory, possession in the United States with deliveries of intoxicating liquors or violation laws thereof is hereby prohibited. The article shall be inoperative unless it shall be ratified as amendment. Okay. Nothing special there. Amendment 22, presidential term limits. No person shall be elected to the office of president for more than twice, and no person who has held the president office or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article is proposed by Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as the president during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. So, establishes 2-term presidential limit, but it's saying like, hey, we're putting this in now, so the current president, when they put it in, it was ratified in 1951, it doesn't apply. This article shall be inoperable, yeah, same thing. The district, not the same thing as all the others. Amendment 23, the presidential vote for District of Columbia. The district constituting the seat of government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors of president and vice president equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were in a state, but in no event more than the least populous state. They shall be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of the election of the president and vice president to be electors appointed by the state, and they shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th Article of Amendment. So this extends the Electoral College to apply to Washington, D.C. Amendment 24, poll tax barred. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president or for the electors of president, vice president, or for senator or representative of Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. You can't tax people to vote. You can't charge people to vote. Amendment 25, presidential disability and secession. In the case of removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, or the vice president shall become president. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by majority vote of both houses of Congress. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives a written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration of the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. So, president dies, president gets sick, president all of a sudden can't remember anything. I don't know who that would apply to, but it tells how the president steps down and basically the vice president acts in place. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either principal officers of the executive departments or such other body of Congress may by law transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives a written declaration that the president unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of office acting president. So this is the thing with Trump a while ago, where people were saying that Pence and the cabinet were going to get rid of Trump that way. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives a written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the Vice President and the majority of either the principal officers of the Executive Department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide transmit within 4 days to the President pro tempore of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives that their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Thereafter, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours after for that purpose, if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after receipt of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days, or if not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 votes of both houses that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall continue to discharge the same, acting as President. Otherwise, the President shall resume the powers and duties of office. So basically, it's all this requirement in order for the President to be declared unable to perform his duties. So it has to go through the Congress as well. Amendment 26, voting set to 18 years. The right of citizens of the United States who are of 18 years or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of age. Then Amendment 27, limiting Congress and congressional pay increases. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. Okay, so they just can't say, oh, we're going to pay ourselves more money because we like ourselves. We think we're doing a good job. We grade ourselves an A+. So there you go, the Constitution of the United States. One thing I find interesting about the Constitution is that it doesn't really do away, like the whole idea of the Constitution in part was because the revolutionaries wanted to do away with the idea of monarchy, but realistically, the Constitution still if you know anything about a monarchy, the Constitution still operates, or federal government still operates in the same way that a monarchy does, with one very important difference in that it removes the dynastic element that a monarchy has. So, like a king was only a king, or a queen was only a queen as long as they had support of all the nobles. And nobles would wheel and deal and backstab and bribe and do all that other kind of stuff. So, if we really look at it through that lens, you can see that the Constitution is not the way our federal government is set up is not that much different from a monarchy, at least in the short-term actions. And whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, you can see that has held true because you had public control of House, Congress, and they just like, oh, we don't like Trump, and then all of a sudden, oh, we like Trump, we're gonna back him, right? So that's basically the same thing of how monarchies would work. So there's the Constitution of the United States. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Either way, it was nice spending this time together with you, camera. Oh, I mean people watching. It feels so fucking ridiculous talking to a goddamn camera all the time. But that's it.